rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and a well for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, I would like to invite Uncle Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country.
Thank you. Budji Mulirul, everyone. Good morning and Nalawa. Welcome to the lands of the Wallamedigal. I wish to firstly pay my respects to the country and its people, and to thank the university for giving us the opportunity to welcome you here this morning. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated. My family, in fact, descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and cleverman of the Buruburungal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. So he enrolled his daughter, Bullangai, or Maria, into the Native Institute, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. Maria studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where the present-day city of Blacktown gets its name. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here today. And with good reason. Your success is our success. Your advancement, our advancement. Now, that was probably better understood in more traditional times when camp groups were smaller and clans abided by strict sharing laws, which meant the food that you caught and brought back was distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortune were thus enjoyed by all. Your efforts literally nourished the rest of the community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we work together. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly lived well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a model or a benchmark on how good to expect our lives today. You see, when Captain Cook arrived here a little over 230 years ago, he described the people he encountered as one of the happiest people he'd ever met. They owned nothing, he wrote, but the tools they carried. They were naked, made their shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and fed their families from the earth without excessive tilling or harvesting. Clearing, I should say. There was no slavery, no rich and poor, and no homelessness. Armies were unheard of, as were jails, forts, or even fences. People cooperated to collect the resources that were needed, which were then shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained in their natural state through fire and responsible harvesting. Our rivers and waterways kept clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of the creeks around here for the past 30,000 years. So this is not an ideal or some longed-for vision. This is normal life for us, and for the longest time, and not that long ago either. And there is no reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us. However, we are a clever people, and there is still much magic in the world, I like to believe. So graduates, I would say expect great and wonderful things from your life. Life is good, we are naturally happy, and normally very good at looking after each other and the planet. I would just ask that you share your skills and knowledge with the rest of us and keep following that beautiful spirit within you that got you this far. Do this, and I'm confident we can put together a world we can be proud of and a future that is worthy of our children. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine by winding up and letting you graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of you and all the best in our collective future. Thank you. Yana.
Distinguished guests, I'm pleased to introduce Pro-Chancellor of Macquarie University, Professor Nick Mansfield.
Thank you very much, Chris, for your welcome to country. We're here today to celebrate the value and meaning of education, and it adds a huge amount to the significance of this event to be able to connect it to the long traditions of wisdom, education and knowledge that have been enacted here for many thousands of years. That you come to welcome us is a great honour to the university, and we thank you very much for your words. Colleagues, guests, families and friends of our graduates, and most importantly, all our graduands, it's my distinct honour and pleasure to welcome you here today to this graduation ceremony. I bring our graduands and their guests a special greeting from the members of the Macquarie University Council, the university's governing body. It's our hope that today is a very happy and memorable occasion for all of you. Now, I see that we have a few babies and a number of small children here today, and I want you to know that they are especially welcome. I also want you to know that we do not expect young children to stay still or to remain quiet during the course of a graduation ceremony. It's very much an event for families and friends, and children are especially welcome. Today is a milestone day. Today we celebrate the wonderful achievements of those of you about to graduate. Completing a university degree is not an easy thing. It requires an intelligent and inquiring mind, determination and perseverance, and you've made many sacrifices along the way in pursuit of your end goal. And now you've made it, and I look forward to personally congratulating each and every one of you. I also want to especially welcome the families, supporters and friends of our graduates here with us today as invited guests. The fact that you've been invited by one of our graduates to share in one of the most memorable days of their lives is proof positive that you've been an important influence. So to our invited guests, congratulations to you as well, and thank you for celebrating this great occasion with us. Universities are different from schools, colleges and other educational institutions in that they link teaching, the sharing of knowledge and ideas, with research, the discovery and formulation of new knowledge and new ways of thinking. There are very few innovations in our world, whether it be in how we are treated when we are sick, how we interact with our environment, the technologies that increasingly define our work, communication and entertainment, in how we are educated, the laws we live by, the policies governments pursue, or the debates that define how we will live, think and make values that are not touched by or even initiated by university research. A university education teaches you not only skills and knowledge, but gives you an awareness of how truth and new ideas develop and how they're tested and validated. Innovation is at the heart of every university and therefore also challenge, difficulty and the excitement that go with them. Macquarie University is at the forefront of innovation and challenge. It was at Macquarie University, for example, in work done in conjunction with the CSIRO, that the world's first working WLAN microchip, on which current Wi-Fi technology is based, was developed, a technology that most of us carry around with us and rely on for 24 hours every day. In the spirit of innovation, we celebrate it is this spirit of innovation we celebrate especially in the graduation of our PhD candidates, who are being awarded the world's highest academic qualification for projects that by definition must be original, groundbreaking and forward-thinking, no matter what the field. Everyone who is graduating today has had to confront these challenges of innovation, of new ways of thinking and change, a process that I'm sure has had its surprises and difficulties and confounding moments as well as moments of anxiety, uncertainty, and stress. But graduates, you've confronted these challenges and won through. You have faced uncertainty and difficulty. You have been assessed against high standards, world-class standards, and you have met with success. You should be very proud of what you have accomplished. It is no small achievement. The university is certainly very proud of you and what you have achieved. But we at Macquarie are also very much aware that education is not just an academic matter. It is fundamentally about people and human relationships. The university strives to be an hospitable, open and supportive environment. The friendliness, inclusiveness and approachability of Macquarie staff and students, for example, is often commented on by visitors to the university, both from across Australia and overseas. This is inherent to Macquarie's culture, and we intend that it will always remain so. Remember, you will always be welcome here. Macquarie University will always be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of wisdom, knowledge and understanding. However, our collective journey is about building community, where we have shared values and where we care about each other, even when our points of view on some issues might diverge. It is that combination of intellectual endeavour and human care that defines what a university is all about. Guests, academic and professional colleagues, and most importantly, our graduates, I offer you the warmest of welcomes to Macquarie University on this grand occasion. In just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour and pleasure to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. But now it's my great pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker, Reverend Dr. Eleni Poulos. Eleni is one of a small group of experts on religion and politics in Australia. She's an adjunct fellow at Macquarie University. Her PhD in politics was conferred in 2021 and examined the public discourses and politics of religious freedom in Australia. Her research is interdisciplinary, drawing from politics, sociology of religion, linguistics, discourse studies, and critical studies in religion. She's a past visiting fellow at Harris Manchester College at the University of Oxford. Eleni is an ordained minister of the Uniting Church in Australia and was for 15 years the director of the Church's National Justice Policy and Advocacy Unit. She has over 20 years' experience working in public policy, advocacy and government relations in the not-for-profit sector, including 11 years as a commissioner of the World Council of Churches advisory body on international affairs. Eleni is a graduate of the Australian Institute of Company Directors and a director of the board of Uniting New South Wales ACT. She's a former member of the ACOS board and past chair of Act for Peace, the international aid and development agency of the National Council of Churches in Australia. Eleni is a frequent commentator on religion and politics for radio and other news media, and in 2023 was invited to deliver the university sermon at the University of Oxford. I now invite Reverend Dr. Eleni Poulos to deliver the occasional address.
Pro-Chancellor, members of the Council, members of faculty, staff, distinguished guests, graduates, families and friends, it is a great privilege for me to have been invited to give the occasional address at this graduation ceremony. And I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Wallumattagal clan of the Darug Nation on whose land we gather today, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. A few years ago, I graduated in this hall with my doctorate. I came to it late in life, and after years of not getting very far with it, I left my job to get it done. One of the best decisions of my life. My PhD is in politics, as you've heard, and I research and write about religion and politics at the intersection of sociology, studies of religion, political science, and discourse studies. And I'm as much interested in the way that we talk about things in the public space as anything else. You might be relieved to hear that this address is not going to be about religion. What I want to talk about today is paying attention. And I'm going to start with a quote from politics. In his book about Scott Morrison, called The Game, Sean Kelly wrote about Australians. He said, "We have all become incredibly skilled at finding ways not to look at what is in front of us." He knows more about this than most because Kelly used to be a press secretary in the offices of 2 prime ministers. He describes the role in part as working to, quote, present a crisp image rather than a set of complicated truths to the media and to the public. His comment about how skilled we are at not paying attention to what's really happening in Australian politics made sense to me, and I was reminded of it when I started reading a new book by Naomi Klein, the Canadian writer and commentator. Klein's latest book, Doppelganger, A Trip into the Mirror World, tells the story of how she is mistaken for Naomi Wolf, once a feminist who wrote a best-selling book called The Beauty Myth, and now one of America's most high-profile conspiracy theorists. Klein found herself not only being confused for Wolf, the other Naomi, but being conflated with her. They both had long hair, they were middle-aged Jewish North American women who have written books. They were conflating, the two of them, to the point where people who were fans of Klein's work were openly wondering on social media how she could have possibly fallen down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. Sometimes Klein came across social media posts made by someone who had realised their mistake, that Naomi Klein and Naomi Wolf were not the same person. But mostly people didn't. At the height of the COVID pandemic, for all sorts of reasons, often to do with fear, misinformation was spreading like wildfire across social media, and many people thought Naomi Klein was part of it. They were not paying attention to what they were reading, to who was saying what, to whether it was accurate or not. Enabled by social media, the culture of disinformation whipping around us often feels to me like a massive tornado sucking us and everything that's good about the world into its chaotic heart. I can only imagine that it's impossible to pay attention in the eye of a tornado. Rogers Brubaker, the American sociologist, in his book Hyperconnectivity and Its Discontents, also talks about attention. He argues that digital hyperconnectivity has, quote, colonised the self, reorganising our attention and reshaping our ways of thinking, seeing and feeling. And it has upended politics, fragmenting the public sphere, polarising, he says, and in some ways paralysing the citizenry, and strengthening populist challenges to mediating institutions. Universities are one such mediating institution. In a few minutes, you'll receive your testamers and be admitted to your degrees. Congratulations to all you graduates. It is an exciting day. To have completed your studies over the chaos of the last few years is an achievement that should not be underestimated. You share this day, a celebration of your significant personal achievement, with all the other graduands here. What you also share with each other is that you, over the course of your degrees, of your studies, learned how to pay attention. You have learned how to read more carefully, look more deeply, and think more critically about what is in front of you. You have learned how to notice what is not there, who is missing, and where stuff and ideas comes from. You have learned how not to be afraid of complexity and nuance. Today, you graduate in your discipline, and you also graduate in paying attention. Today, I want to encourage you to keep those skills switched on as you move out of this place and through your careers. Now, more than ever, we need people who know how to pay attention to what is happening, to look deeply, think critically, not be afraid of complexity, assess what is true and identify what isn't. Wherever you go from here, into whatever field of work, you will carry with you those skills and you will need to use them. But attention, intentional, deep, profound attention is not just about bringing a set of skills to bear on a situation, text, or problem. The 20th century French philosopher, theologian, and activist Simone Weil wrote that attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity, and that taken to its highest degree, it presupposes love. Genuine attentiveness will always be an act of generosity and love. This is the opposite of the inattention that Kelly, Klein, and Brubaker describe and have experienced. We are drowning in inattention, driven by fear, and its outcomes are proving divisive and destructive. But when our attention is grounded in love, the outcomes can be life-affirming and creative. In today's climate, those who have learned how to pay attention, want to pay attention, do pay attention, are sometimes derided as people with hidden agendas, elites seeking to impose their ideology on others. But you must never, never feel ashamed of what you have learned and what you can do with it. We need you. We need you to keep paying attention and engaging. Tell us what you see and hear and find beneath, above, and behind the surface of things. Go out today with your testama in your hands and live the lessons of attention you have received with joy and generosity, grace and humility. The world needs you to do this, and you are ready. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Dr. Poulos, for those remarks and for giving up your time for coming today and being an important part of our ceremony. Thank you. As Pro-Chancellor of Macquarie University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring degrees on those who've complied with the university's requirements for awards. I now call on Acting Registrar Dr. Belinda Tiffin to formally certify the eligibility of those who've met the university's requirements for awards.
Pro-Chancellor, I certify that all of the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees please stand?
In the name of the Macquarie University Council and by my authority as Pro-Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees for which you have qualified. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. Pro-Chancellor, The graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Arts. I now call on Professor Sarah Soriel, Associate Dean, Research Training and Performance at the Faculty of Arts, to present the graduates. Professor.
Pro-Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Arts. Students and staff from the Faculty of Arts develop critical, inquiring and curious minds. They work together within and across disciplinary boundaries to ask questions about socially complex problems. They identify paths of research, analyse and communicate ideas in creative formats, and reflect on the skills and knowledge they need in order to understand the world, past, present and future. Students are encouraged to use their skills and talents to connect with local and global communities. This faculty includes research and study areas in ancient history, anthropology, education, English, geography and planning, Indigenous studies, international studies, law, media, music, communication and cultural studies, modern history, politics and international relations, philosophy, sociology and security studies and criminology. Through transformative education, Faculty of Arts graduates are equipped to face societal challenges with a deep evaluative mind, strong reasoning and a well-established ethical compass. They explore their creativity and passions while developing transferable skills like communication, critical thinking and digital literacy. These skills are extremely sought after by employers. To our graduates, as you reflect on the last few years, I'm sure you'll agree that Macquarie University is home to a wonderful community of people. The relationships and networks you have formed will continue to serve you well into your future, as professional contacts, as academic mentors, and as lifelong friendships. Thank you. Pro-Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Arts whom you have admitted to degrees or awarded diplomas. A higher degree by research is awarded to a graduate who has successfully completed a program of study in which the defining characteristic is research. The Doctor of Philosophy is awarded to graduates who have demonstrated the capacity to conduct research independently by forming a distinct contribution to the knowledge of the subject and to afford evidence of coherence and originality, shown either by the discovery of new facts or by the exercise of independent critical power. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Penelope Susan Boyer-Pont, for a thesis entitled Get Up, Understanding Australia's Largest Internet-Mediated Political Campaigning and Advocacy Organisation. Dr. Rachel Ann Mansfield, for a thesis entitled Minting Practices of Southern Levant Coastal Cities in the Severan Period, c. 195 to 235. Dr. Jessica Lee Mackenzie, for a thesis entitled The Strait of Messana in the Roman World, Connectivity, Space and Identity Between Italy and Sicily, 300 BCE to 400 CE. Dr. Harriet Tasman Narwhal, for a thesis entitled Co-Becoming with Darug Noora, fostering ontological pluralism and shaping multi-species cities within country. Dr. Brika Nassaroya, for a thesis entitled The Nazarene Mandean Ancient Sea Illustrated, Document 7, Diwan Natharala, The River Scroll Sacred Waterways, Critical Edition, Translation and Commentary. Dr. Annie Sandrusi, for a thesis entitled Heidegger's Unthought, The Question of the Body and Sexual Difference. Dr. Murray James Smith, for a thesis entitled Jesus the Son of Man and the Final Coming of God, The Origin of Early Christian Second Coming Expectation in Jesus' Eschatological Vision. Dr. Elizabeth Ann Stockdale, for a thesis entitled The Principles of Female Figures in the Odyssey. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the degree of Bachelor of Science. Chloe April Gale Chan. Marie Yenarakis. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Ancient History. Gabriel Sebastian Jawa. Talia Rose Kirk. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Archaeology. Alia Adele Aladinas. Claire Birkin. Mark Mitri. Hamish Lachlan Quinn. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Matthew James Alty. Amelia Grace Ballantyne. Jimmy Barraquette. Callum Joseph Byrne. Carlos Ramon Cervantes. Mfanwi Wilhelmina Chern. Alana Paris Coleman. Tessa Cornwall. Nicholas Christopher Dukwa. Joshua Timothy Evans. Christian Facer. Bryn Joy Scaldi. Miao Hao. Faith Baptista Hynern McKinnon. Ethan Helsby. Callista Heron. Jenny Louise Hockley. Erin Hodge. Emily Hoyle. Charlotte Humphreys. Kimberly Imboon. Gloria Jovial. Rebecca Mary Keegan. Daniel McGurn. Kushi Mehta. Joseph Nagar. Nicholas Nicolethis. Simon Nunes. Joshua John Rulaverne. Sayori Shinohara. Kelvin Ka Sun Tong. Durafsha Zahid. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of International Studies. Raquel Kwang Albino. Siobhan Costello. Locke Jared Hui. Jacob Massey. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Planning. Ali Babouri. Adrian Bori. Yijun Shui. Matthew Flynn. Rafid Iqbal. Dean Lidis. Matthew Adrian Tang. Jake Sagaris. Jack Turner. Christine Vu. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Social Science. Sarah El Hussein. Tasneen Alham. Zoe Lauren Brigstock. Victoria Jane Egedy. Eva Gurganovsky. Jordan Christopher Grimond. Eliane Louise Jones. Douglas Tapfumane Mandaza. Arin James Monaghan. Christina Chloe Palacios. Taskeen Rawi. Isabel Rachel Robinson. Nikhil Rahul Anthony Srinivatna. Isaac Wee Ken Tan. Sophie Caitlin Taylor. Jenny Michelle Thompson. Manahil Zahir. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of International Communication with the degree of Master of International Relations, Shreya Sharma. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Relations and Master of Media and Communications, Isabel Marie Briones Valencia. Yula Katerina Welt. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Ancient History, Thomas Gregorio Azzopardi. Lisa Myers, awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Relations, Jambal Sanjeed Batabilig. Suvd Erdeen London Bazaar. Emma Christine Nicholson. Ella Neela Ingrid Key. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Planning, Samhita Bose. Jamie John Hallam. Afan Adil Khan. Paula Nassif. Angela Kate Smidmore. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Public and Social Policy. Ebony Marie Apple. Stuart Armstrong. Danielle Leah Buckley. Gemma Louise Kerrison, awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Pro-Chancellor, a higher degree by research is awarded to a graduate who has successfully completed a program of study in which the defining characteristic is research. Oh, sorry. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Juris Doctor. Sana Madrin. Pro-Chancellor, a higher degree by research is awarded to a graduate who has successfully completed a program of study in which the defining characteristic is research. Our Master of Research is a 2 full-year, full-time equivalent research training degree consisting of research-based coursework, postgraduate research training, and a major research project. Graduates have focused on a specific research topic to produce a thesis of up to 20,000 words in preparation to a doctoral degree. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Research. Lisette Vanessa Agano Cardoza, for a thesis entitled Integrating the Circular Economy into Construction Waste Management in New South Wales, Australia. Tanya Blake, for a thesis entitled It is really excellent, tried and tested a million times. Efficacy in the medical and magical texts of ancient Egypt. Jennifer Budd, for a thesis entitled Menderio Portha, Lament in the Letters of Sidonius Apollinaris. Malcolm Jeffrey Campbell, for a thesis entitled Actually Autistic, Autistic Identity Construction and Digital Socialising in Social Media Spaces. Anastasia Chan, for a thesis entitled Work, Life and Self-Cultivation, Thoreau's Walden as a Philosophy of Work. Jackson Derring, for a thesis entitled I Defend Myself and I Often Capitulate, a diplomatic history of Napoleon III's attempt to purchase the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. Hannah Gately, for a thesis entitled Russian Organised Crime and Ransomware as a Service, State-Cultivated Cybercrime. Alexander James Hill, for a thesis entitled Soy Boys Will Be Boys, Negotiating Vegan Masculinities in the Land of Lamb Lovers. Michael Robert Hitches, for a thesis entitled To Be or Not to Be, an investigation into the New South NSW BT title and the Egyptian understanding of apiculture. Jennifer Ann Hockey, for a thesis entitled Young People and Climate Change, Eco-Anxiety, Hope and Wellbeing. Joanne Marama Kimira, for a thesis entitled Ikor Amure Ehoke, The Route Left Behind Cannot Be Retraced. Michelle Claire Kay, for a thesis entitled Identities in Ink, Exploring Connections Between Tattoos and Ethnic Identities in the Ancient Nile Valley. Nicholas Peter Kazimis, for a thesis entitled From Ships to Palatial Centres, an analysis of Mycenaean domestic economy and long-distance trade in the Late Bronze Age. Simran Keshawani, for a thesis entitled Creating a Renewables Giant, the Rise of National Champions in India's Solar Sector. Hyun Ji Lee, for a thesis entitled Transformative Trade, the Impacts of Trade on the Periphery of the Roman Empire. Natasha Mathams, for a thesis entitled A Kindred Spirit, the Impact of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the Vampire Diaries on Adolescent Viewers. Mark Matthew Matic, for a thesis entitled The Greek of Two Edras, Signs of Fluency and Formal Education in a Literal Translation. Morgan Gary Mumford, for a thesis entitled From Valhalla to Heaven, Norse Pagan Contact with Christianity in Anglo-Scandinavian England. Tara Marie O'Neill, for a thesis entitled Right-Wing Extremism, Alienation and Neoliberalism in Contemporary Australia. Luke Peliquin, for a thesis entitled War Priests, The Fatales and Dynamic Conservatism in Roman Religion. Sybil Wong, for a thesis entitled Insanity from a Historical Perspective, The Holy Fool in Late Antiquity. Ashok Zaman, for a thesis entitled Breaking into the Circle, A Philosophical Justification for a First-Person Approach to the Science of Consciousness. Pro-Chancellor, that completes this morning's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Arts.
Pro-Chancellor, I call on Dr. Annie Sanrusi, who graduated with a Doctor of Philosophy, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Dr. Sanrusi.
Pro-Chancellor, members of the University, fellow graduates and guests, I'm deeply honoured to speak today, and being here with my fellow graduates and PhD peers, I'm extremely grateful. I want to congratulate all the graduates on their brilliant achievement. I'm sure that almost everyone graduating here today achieved this amidst really hard times. Many of us endured separation from our loved ones and material difficulties. Many may have experienced illness or grief, or were caring for or growing their families. You all have worked very hard. I worked very hard, and the conditions were likely less than ideal. So you should be very proud, as I am, of the immense resilience you displayed in making this brilliant achievement. When the background of our work is coloured by hardship, it can be hard to see through it to the gift it is to obtain an education. A gift is something you get without having to earn. A gift is something bestowed to you by others. And when life gets hard, it can be really difficult to do much other than think about how everyone else has it so much easier, and to think about how many privileges others enjoy while we battle it out for our so-called gift. But I still know deep down that this is true, that this achievement is a culmination of so many gifts, many entirely untraceable. Your gifts may have been different from mine. During the PhD, it was my two supervisors, Associate Professor Robert Sinnerbrink and Dr. Joanne Faulkner, who were not only brilliant in their field, but who exercised their duties from a deep spirit of generosity and friendship. It was also Dr. Katrina Hutchison, who had no official duty towards me, but entirely out of goodwill lent an ear to my worries and guided me back to optimism. It was the gift of my father, who devoted much of himself to the care of my children, without which I could have achieved nothing. As a child, it had been years of evening crosswords, reading the encyclopedia and encouraging my poetry. It's a treasure most girls aren't gifted. It was the gift of my mother, her unwavering compassion, all the lit candles and silent prayers, and her reminding me to take deep breaths and that most things work out okay in the end. When failure and heartbreak found me, it was a gift of a home I could always go back to. It was my siblings who taught me how love can persist in difference and who reminded me to laugh. It was also the gift of 3 children, Elias, Ezekiel, and Margot, whose soft and chubby bodies occupied me in various ways through the years of the PhD. But mostly it was the gift of Joel, who accompanies me in all things with such an unwavering peacefulness. who never keeps score on the domestic labour, and who made my leave screen again. I'm sure, like me, that you also had many gifts, however different from mine, that accompanied you along with your hardships. You can't pay them back, that's what makes them a gift. But what you can do is try to pay them forward in whatever way you find, not only to your communities, but to all the places into which the work you do from now on might extend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Annie, for those heartfelt and moving remarks. Thank you, and congratulations again.
O mio bambino caro, mi piace bello, vorrei portar a converrar l'anello. Sì, sì, ci voglio andare. E se non m'assendo, andrei sul ponte vecchio, ma per buttarmi l'arna mi stracco e mi tormento.
That was Ms. Angela Brewer. Angela is the founder and artistic director of Coast Opera Australia. Will you please join me again in thanking her for that superb performance? Please also join me in thanking our musicians. On the organ, Heather Moen-Boyd. And on the trumpet, Miss Melanie McLaughlin. I'd also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the representatives from our alumni community who've come today to help celebrate the occasion. And finally, please also join me in thanking our technical staff who ensure that the proceedings can be seen and heard, not just for all of you here today, but for those watching the event on live stream. Graduates, this ceremony marks a change of your relationship with Macquarie University, but it certainly does not represent the end of your association with us. From today onwards, you're now part of the bigger Macquarie family. Our alumni network, which is over 225,000 graduates strong, living in over 140 countries around the world, it now welcomes you to its fold. We look forward to seeing you back on campus to attend alumni events, to undertake further study, or simply to visit the beautiful campus and reminisce about the good times you had here as a Macquarie University student. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. We urge you to commit to lifelong learning and inquiry. We urge you to set ambitious goals for yourselves. We urge you to continue the hard work that has already brought you this far. And remember, the world is not only changed by the great leaps forward of an Albert Einstein or a Marie Curie, but by many contributions, small and large, of people just like you. At Macquarie, we pride ourselves on developing each and every one of our students into engaged community citizens and leaders. So we urge you to always give thought to what you can do for others along the way. You don't have to do much sometimes to make a real difference to someone's life. Sometimes a kind gesture or a simple word can mean an enormous amount. We challenge you to continue to exercise sound judgment and initiative, and to always be generous in offering practical advice and wisdom to those you meet on life's journey. Our hope is that as graduates of Macquarie University, you'll use what you have learnt here not only for your own benefit, but also for the betterment of our community. And in all you do, we charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. It's also our hope that you always remember the people who've helped you along the way, many of whom are here with us today. So to acknowledge the contribution and thank them for it, I'm going to ask you to do a few things. First, I'd like all our new graduates to please stand. Now I want you to place your testamas on your seats and turn around to face your families and friends. And now it's time to give them a mighty round of applause. You can turn around now, but please don't sit down, don't sit down. Here on the dais with me are representatives of our academic staff who've supported and led you throughout your journey. Please join me in thanking them. Graduates, please remain standing, but do pick up your testamas. We don't want you to leave them behind. The official party will soon leave the graduation hall, followed by the graduates. As we do, our organist will play the traditional recessional music of graduation, which has been played at ceremonies over the centuries. There's an age-old set of Latin lyrics which goes with this music, which begins, Gaudiemus igitur dum sumus juvenes. Translation, this graduation exit song starts, therefore let us rejoice, we will always be young. This song speaks in a whimsical way of youth and old age at the same time, of the brevity of life and the inevitability of death, of the state and city and of happiness. Again, to our newest graduates of Macquarie University, our warmest congratulations and every best wish for futures filled with success, satisfaction, and most importantly, with happiness. Now might I ask everyone to please stand. I'm about to lead the official party to be followed by the graduates in procession. I then invite you all to follow our graduates out of the graduation hall and enjoy some light refreshments on the dais behind the building. In closing today's wonderful celebration of your achievements, I say again, Gaudiemus igitur, therefore let us rejoice.